Welcome today to our board meeting. I want to call the meeting to order with a roll call. Gary Ball.
Here.
Tim Wells is joining us online.
You there, Tim?
Okay. Julie Jordan.
Here.
Wes Clark. Here. Courtney Ness.
Here.
Don Carter here. And Leelle Straight's absent today, enjoying her vacation. If you don't mind, would you please rise, and we'll have a pledge of allegiance and then a time of prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just want to thank you for this opportunity, Lord, just to serve here at Treasure Lake. Lord, we ask you just continue to guide us and direct us as a board. Lord, we just want to thank you for this beautiful weather, this great time we had during the spring break bash, and thank you for all the team members here at Treasure Lake, work campers and all, that made it possible. And Lord, as you guide us as we go through this meeting, in Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I want to recognize all of our veterans at the present time. If you don't mind, stand. And their spouses, please. Thank you. Appreciate everything. Former board members and their spouses. Thank you all for your service. Next, we'll have a reporting from Stephen.
All right, we have a total membership of 6,656, and memberships in Vault are currently sitting at 844. Sales year to date are sitting at 33, and 14 of those have been referrals from owners like you. So thank you for those referrals. Just a reminder, $200 referral bonus if you refer somebody and they buy here at Treasure Lake. And then 10 of those of the 33 have been visitors to our park from RV show booths. And remember, we have the 250 memberships at $1,250 in celebration of America's 250th anniversary. And again, referrals different from last year. This year, you do get that $200 check. Let's see. Winter storage ends March 31st, and of course, as everyone knows, all phases are open to camping currently. Storage is at 95% capacity with 29 open spots, and our waiting list has dropped considerably to 123 on our waiting list. If you have any questions that are related to storage, please reach out to storage@tlresort.com. Lodge and R&R and Lodge Breakfast are both open. Huge round of applause for the work campers that stepped up to make that possible, please. Yeah, wonderful job.
Thank you.
I got to stay away from there. My doctor yelled at me, so can't have breakfast every day. And some of our favorite staples are coming back early April. This includes bingo, church service, and golf cart parades. So indoor pool is open. And then just a reminder, we do need volunteers for our park-wide inventory. Our live occupancy report is back up for the season. And if you've noticed, it's not going down every other day. That API new book connection that we talked about is part of that updated report, so it's updating timely, constantly. It's not what we want to end with. Eventually, we want a live map that shows what RV sites are occupied. That'll be coming in the future. Occupancy year to date, RV nights are up 2%, and that equates to about 591 more RV nights. And then spring break, it's been an awesome week. Thank you to the owners, work campers, staff, people that have volunteered to help out. It's been an awesome week. The fishing tournament was the first, I think, annual fishing tournament. I look forward to doing that again, and not waiting a whole year. The kiddos out there had a whole lot of fun, and it was neat to see. And that's all the updates that I have.
Reports from committee. Start with our rules and regulations.
We don't have any new rules or regulations that's coming online within the last 30 days or projected in the next 30 days.
long-term planning.
Yeah, we have an update. The board has been looking at the proposals from the Long-Term Planning Committee. We've been looking at it for several months now, and we've taken a deeper dive into it today, and happy to report that we have identified several projects from their proposal that we are ready to start on this year. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the motions for this meeting today.
Insurance committee.
We have had one new vendor that has applied and been approved in the last 30 days, since the last meeting, I should say. And other than that, the current vendors are turning in paperwork and getting their insurance certificates in on time. We haven't had any individuals that have lapsed out of coverage, so all is going well. The process is working, so we're in good shape with that.
Okay. Storage, of course, you heard what Stephen said. We're at 95% occupancy. Be sure that your name's on the waiting list. They'll go down the waiting list and give you a call. So we're doing good there. Finance committee.
Well, that's going to be discussed under motions, because we're going to have a couple of motions later on in the meeting that's going to pertain to this, and so we'll make the discussion and the report kind of tied together in that phase.
Okay. Water committee.
Okay. We're getting in the remote sending units that will allow us to read the meters remotely, so we won't have to go sticking our head down in the hole every time we want to read a meter. And therefore, it'll be easier for us to make the calculations and determine where our usage and leaks and all of that kind of thing are. And we're still looking at ways to get a handle on the leaks so we can bring our water bill down. It's still too high, way too high, and that's the direction that we want to go with it. We just got to keep working at it, and this latest step with getting the remote viewing type things with the transmitters, that'll help out that process. So that's about all we have for right now.
Also, while he's talking about water, I want to thank our maintenance group for repairing some leaks, and we'll appreciate all that. All right. Work camper committee.
All right, we need some more work campers in food and beverage. So there's still opportunities if you want to participate for this season. It's 24 hours a week, and you can split it with a couple, so a husband and wife can each work 12 hours. If you want more information, if you want to apply, you can contact Tammy in HR, and her email is hr@tlresort.com or Steven@gm@tlresort.com. So get a hold of them so that we can fill those spots and have a full work camper roster for this season. Thanks.
Marketing committee.
Yeah. We are in the process of interviewing for the position of Director of Programs and Marketing. Stephen, I believe, has 3 candidates right now that we're looking at. Hope to have somebody that qualifies and we can bring on board here in the near future. And then marketing continues to get out there and find ways to market Treasure Lake and reach new people, get those memberships sold. I think George and the team is doing a great job of doing that.
And that is all of our reports from our committees. Before we go on to the next page, I want to kind of explain what our transparency has been, and we're going to continue to do that. As we go through motions, minutes, and we approve them, we'll go down each item one at a time. During the discussion part of it, any person that has anything that wants to discuss about that particular topic, feel free to come to the mic, discuss it, and then we can try to get you the answer. If we know it off the top of our head, we'd be more than happy to tell you. If we don't, we can get you an answer. And then at the end of the meeting, any items that was not discussed, we'll have an open mic for everybody to discuss the items that were not discussed or an item that you have that needs to be discussed. All right? All right. First item on board is to approve the minutes from the February 26th meeting that was previously provided by the board.
I make a motion to that effect.
Okay. Any discussion on those minutes? Does anybody have any discussion? for that meeting? Hearing no discussion, I have a roll call. Gary Ball,
Yes?
Julie Jordan,
Yes.
Don Carter, yes. Courtney Ness,
Yes.
Wes Clark, Tim Wells. Okay, thank you. All right, motion passed. The next motion will be for our Finance Committee. Yep, it'll be Wes.
Reports dated 12/31/2025 and afterwards. That includes annual dues, storage, and leases will still be reported as received instead of on an accrual method.
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
This is the first year that we have been under our own accounting system for a very long time. It goes back probably about 16, 17 years since we've actually been doing our own accounting in-house. So this is the first year at the completion of this year, 12/31, that we've been back in-house. And has that been a transition? So let's just suffice it to say at that point that we are taking off with this concept of updating different things, changing the style of certain things, and making things a lot easier to work with over time. And I'll get Stephen a little bit, since he's intimately involved in that, that's the right word to use. Maybe not. Anyway, to get this started off with the right direction as far as the discussion regarding this.
Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest adjustments to this is we spend a whole lot of time keeping very complicated books just to spend hours trying to uncomplicate them when we report out. So the best example of that, they mentioned annual dues and storage fees. Right now, in the we used to accrue just those things. So we've always been a modified cash basis, but we were accruing annual dues. So we were actually seeing, okay, instead of just seeing cash coming in, we've invoiced X number of dollars in annual dues, but we actually haven't earned those yet. So we're going to take that and we're going to divide it by 12, and that's going to be what we put in the budget if everybody pays on time. We have unearned versus earned, and then invoiced versus not invoiced, and then what's been accrued and not accrued. And what ended up happening throughout the years is there was never a proper adjustment at the end of the year to reduce those earnings that didn't actually come in on the balance sheet. There wasn't a lot of maintenance that was done by our prior accounting firm to ensure that those numbers on our balance sheet were accurate. Bringing it in-house, this not only simplifies it for our in-house accounting, but also simplifies it for anybody on the park looking at our financials. You can see true cash coming in versus true cash coming out. So that is a difference, and the biggest difference is as owners looking at the financials, you won't see a kind of a static number sitting in annual dues or storage earned or storage fees. You're going to see a kind of an explosion of those numbers in the beginning of the year when we invoice those things out, and then those numbers will trickle back down. It's really going to follow the true cash flow of the organization and not what we're just accruing in those lines. So an important part to note on that is as we move throughout the year, you're going to see months toward the end of the year, if we don't have a lot of billing going out or a lot of people staying on the park, that our expenses are certainly going to exceed our income for those months. We're still doing the same operation, we're just accounting for it differently, and it's more true to the actual cash of the business and the nature of the business. So if anybody has any questions about it or wants to look over it in more detail, grab me at some point, and I can kind of discuss with you, answer any questions that you have. And this is on advice from some people that we've been working with on our financials, providing advice on what they feel. The first question that we had was, do we have to have an accrual basis? And we were assured that unless we reach 25 million, there's no standard that says we have to operate on an accrual basis. And again, we're not changing our basis. It's always been modified cash. We're just modifying a little more, if you will.
And it takes some into consideration some of the things that we have been making in the 25 balance sheet and whatnot that is being released as of 12/31. the things, and I'll just give an example that we were talking about in gift cards. We have in the past have sold gift cards, and people would utilize them, but if you were looking at the accounting system, theoretically what you would have is when they were used, you would take them off of that out there balance that you had that was reserved for gift cards. That wasn't being done. So therefore, we wound up having to have a litany of adjusting entries at the end of the year. So it's to make this complete as far as how to show those are not actually out there particularly any longer. We're in the same boat with the situation with assets. This is why we're getting ready now to do an inventory for everything that we've got on the park, because what had happened is we would have items that would be purchased and it's keep adding and keep adding and keep adding, and the items that had gone away, that had been depreciated out, didn't ever get removed from the listing. So it just kept growing and growing and growing. Now we are going back through and taking those items off of the list, but that's being done by a journal entry, an adjustment journal entry. So that's going to show up as far as being a substantial amount of dollar amount, but it's not actually dollars per se, because it's based on inventory and based on other factors that are not straight dollars. They were information that was provided, like vehicles, for example. We've shown like $290,000 in vehicles. Highly unlikely we have $290-some thousand worth of vehicles on the park if you've ever seen any of the vehicles running around the park lately. So consequently, we're having to take that, make those adjustments, and we're bringing all that into play as of December 31st. Now we're going to do the update with the inventory and adjust that even further so that we've got a better handle on what's going on.
I think the most important thing is all this work is being done to ensure that our balance sheet is as accurate as it can be, and then moving forward is maintained at that accuracy level.
It's also going to be a little bit easier for people to understand and look at. We do depreciation also, and we need to understand what depreciation is an implication generally for companies that are paying taxes. Well, we traditionally don't pay taxes, hence 501c7 as a mutual benefit corporation. So what we're doing is we're tracking our depreciation, but not necessarily in the same vein as far as using it for tax purposes. So the adjusting entries and the inventory that we're getting this committee together with, if anybody would like to help us out with that, sign up for that, please contact Julie. And we'd most assuredly like to have your help. From what I understand, the app is ready to be used on...
No experience necessary. It's a link on a phone that you'll click. You'll jot down some information. This is a table. Here's a picture of it, and then submit it, and it goes into a spreadsheet for us. So, and then from there we'll decide what is completely depreciated out already and doesn't belong in the asset schedule versus something that is newer or something that shouldn't be considered an asset at all.
So I think we're definitely on the right track. We're getting much better every month that we go along in this process. So help us out. If you'd like to help out with the inventory, let us know. All right.
And financials will be posted.
Financials will be posted.
Okay. Any more discussion? Anybody have any discussion?
Going once, twice.
Any discussion? Hearing no more discussion, we'll have a roll call. Gary Ball,
Yes.
Julie Jordan,
Yes.
Don Carter, yes. Courtney Ness,
Yes.
Wes Clark,
Yes.
Tim Wells. Yes. All right, thank you. Motion passed. All right, next motion.
I'd make a motion to accept the end of year financials for 2025 as presented to the Board of Directors.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussions?
Well, essentially, that's what we just went through and did discuss as far as what's on that and how that's going back from 25 and how it's going to be moving into 26. So that pretty well, the previous discussion pretty well covered most of that aspect of it. So if there's any other questions,
That will be posted online
shortly.
shortly.
Today.
Today.
Today, okay.
Yeah.
So that, the year end for 25 be posted. And what that does, that gets us to where we can have our monthly balance sheet available on time every month consistently. That's where we're headed.
And we'll actually be doing balance sheets and P&L, profit and loss per se, where we've not been doing that a lot in the last, well, actually probably last year. We haven't been doing balance sheets. So, but we'll be doing that now.
As we've been converting over to this new way of doing our finances, bringing them in the house, it's just taken a lot of time, a lot of man hours, and I appreciate everybody that has worked on that. We've had some great people working on it, and we will continue to take the utmost importance of finances.
Okay. Vote.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing no more discussion, we'll have a roll call. Gary Ball,
Yes?
Julie Jordan,
Yes.
Courtney Ness,
Yes.
Don Carter, yes. Wes Clark,
Yes.
Tim Wells.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. All right. Next motion?
I move to authorize the payoff of the Treasure Lake Chevy Equinox that is currently assigned to Stephen in the amount not to exceed $7,000.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Well, I guess essentially what we're doing here is trying to clear out so that we don't really have any outstanding loans, liens, or anything like that, and trying to keep everything on a cash basis, so we don't have to finance anything when we got them, especially with the amount of money we got in the bank account now. We don't need to be financing anything. It's just kind of a,
Why pay interest?
yeah, why pay interest? Even if it's, why even mess with it even if it's zero interest?
Yeah.
Let's just get it off the books that way and go forward.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing no more discussion, let's have a roll call. Gary Ball,
Yes.
Julie Jordan,
Yes.
Courtney Ness,
Yes.
Don Carter, yes. Wes Clark,
Yes.
Tim Wells.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. All right. Next motion.
All right, I move to approve a capital improvement allocation of $115,000 to initiate year one priorities of the long-term planning committee, and this is what we talked about earlier. This would include up to $36,000, and I say up to $36,000 for RV site improvements, up to $39,000 for cabin renovations, up to $25,000 for comfort station improvements, and then a $15,000 allocation to create an equipment replacement reserve.
I will second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I just want to thank our long-term planning committee and the work that they did to not only come up with this plan but also to help us really figure out where we're at and what our needs are moving forward. So there was a lot of man hours put into creating this plan. Thank you for that. I'm happy that we're able to move forward and allocate some money toward getting it done.
And also, while the committee had presented many ideas for the first 3-year plan, it's a 3-year and a 5-year, 10-year plan, we selected 3 of the top things that we felt that we could accomplish within the next year. And they presented actual numbers of like how many RV sites we could actually improve, how many cabins we could renovate. Given the fluctuation in pricing, we know that those numbers may not be realistic, but with the numbers that we have set, we will do our best to accomplish as many of those tasks as possible.
Any more discussion? Anybody have any discussion? No, that's last year's. No, our capital budget
Yeah, we're moving to kind of a new way of budgeting as well. So we've got our operational budget, and then we've got a capital expenditures budget. So the budget that's been approved so far, and though that's been posted, is the operational budget. Within the next month, I've been waiting for a long-term plan to be approved so that I could pull together a comprehensive capital expenditure budget. That will then go in front of the board, and the board will say, yes, we approve you to do X, Y, Z on the capital expenditure side. For a long time, Treasure Lake has reported things on a profit and loss statement that truly should have been a capitalized improvement on our balance sheet. And so, again, trying to clean that up and keep things consistent, we've removed that out of the operating budget. So if you've looked at the operating budget and went, there's no site improvements in there, we're still planning on doing site improvements. It's just a different budget. So I'll present that to the board. My plan is next month, and then they'll approve that. Just because the long-term plan is approved too, it doesn't mean that there won't be additional things in the capital expenditures budget that I request from the board. But those are the things that were in the long-term plan that are going to be part of the capital expenditures budget.
And I want to apologize real quick. The original question was it in our 2026 budget? And the answer was,
No.
okay, no, it was not. So,
I also want to make the reminder that, remember last year we created the fundraising campaign for capital improvements, and if you would like to still contribute to that fund, if you have not done so or would like to contribute more, that fund will remain ongoing. So we would gladly take donations. Now that we have identified several more projects, your donations become more important to us. So,
if we have any questions, please come to the mic.
Where did we get to on the budget for capital improvements volunteering? What level did it get to? Yeah, on the donations.
He's pulling it up.
82,000. I don't have the
82,000,
exact number in front of
and
me.
we were looking
and I've done a
for-
horrible job at updating the capital improvement fundraiser signs. My apologies.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Please be assured, though, that anytime you write a check, I mean, if you're earmarking it for capital improvements, it's being booked on our balance sheet as capital improvements, and I cannot spend that money on anything except capital improvements.
Does that include the laundry that's being renovated down in Phase 4?
So the board approved that outside of the CapEx budget, but it'll be included in the CapEx budget just to show that, yeah, that's the total we spent for the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's already been
gonna be
approved. Correct.
And when do we expect it to be in the finished stages?
Yeah, we're getting pretty close. The split, the air conditioning is coming next week, so that has to be installed. There's still a little bit of drywall to be hung as well.
Kudos to all of you guys that have to do that.
Yeah,
That's-
absolutely. Give it up for our maintenance team. Yep.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Any more discussion?
I'll give the exact amount. As of December 31st, 2025, our capital improvement fund was sitting at $82,832.36.
Thank you, Stephen. Any other discussion? Hearing no more discussion, have a roll call. Gary Ball,
Yes.
Julie Jordan,
yes.
Courtney Ness,
Yes.
Don Carter, yes. Wes Clark,
Yes.
Tim Wells.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed. Okay, next motion.
I make a motion to increase the emergency fund by $100,000, making it $500,000 effective 4/1/26.
I second that.
Any discussion?
We currently have been rolling with $400,000 in the emergency fund for quite a while. It's been up and down and back and forth around as far as when you see the financials over the last, 4 years or something like that. This is going to actually be the first time it's going to be increased in quite some time. So we'll be at a $500,000 level. We will be working towards also on this, putting this money into either CD, but we're also looking at money market. I don't know if anybody's been following the money market. There was something like that, money market, that money markets are almost paying about the same almost as what a CD is. And you can draw the money out a little bit more readily if you want to do that. So it also stays in as a cash on the balance sheet as opposed to an investment where CDs appear as an investment. So that's just so you know where it's at and how that's being worked. But so we'll be doing that. So we'll be increasing it to 500,000.
So important to note, on the balance sheet, you'll see board emergency reserve at 400. That'll be increased to 500,000. You'll see another line that's showing where that money is being held. So you'll see it kind of in two different places.
Any more discussion? Any discussion? Come on to the mic, sir.
I'll just make one comment about the CDs versus money market. When you put money in CDs, that rate is guaranteed. The money market is not.
Okay. Thank you for the information. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing none, we will have a roll call. Gary Ball?
Yes.
Julie Jordan?
Yes.
Don Carter, yes. Courtney Ness?
Yes.
Wes Clark?
Yes.
Tim Wells?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved. All right. Do we have any more motions?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I will second that. I do want to say real quick, thank you to everyone that engaged with our discussion part of the meeting.
All right. After the meeting, we will be here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to come to the mic, and we will answer them. Yeah, we will. I'm just kind of doing some discussion first. So if anybody's got any questions, we will kind of sit here until we're done. All right. Any more discussion? Hearing no more discussion, let's have a roll call. Wes Clark? Yes. Don Carter? Yes. Gary Ball?
Yes.
Julie Jordan?
Yes.
Courtney Ness?
Yes.
And Tim Wells?
Yes.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. All right. Now the floor is open for any questions or comments.
On a ballpark figure, and I know it's different, going to be different for every site improvement, depending on the size and electrical and whatever. Does the site improvements going to, when you do those sites, is that going to be electrical and like probably concrete is what we're looking at mostly?
The biggest part of the cost is going to be concrete.
And again, I know it depends on the size. What's a ballpark?
$8.50 a square foot.
How much again?
A square foot, right?
Yeah, $8.50 a square foot is what about the average.
You don't have like a total dollar average or anything.
4,000 roughly.
Yeah, okay.
$4,000.
It gives an idea of what that
So,
36,000.
I'll go through. Originally, the long-term plan called for 9 sites at $4,000 each.
Okay.
Again, we're going to get as many as we can done.
Sure, and I
for
know that depends on the
36,000.
size and all that,
Yep.
but yeah, okay.
And I think the goal is to do as many at one time as we can, so when you pay a crew to come out to do concrete work, they're here doing more than just a small patch.
Now, when you go to improve the sites, are you just gonna shut it down and tape it off until, so nobody moves on there when you're getting ready to do it?
That is the goal.
Just a reminder for owners, if you see a red tag on a site, maintenance is asking that you please do not pull that red tag off and park there, because nothing's wrong with the site. Because we could be planning, like in this case, extending those sites, widening them. We've had some issues with that over this week. So just a reminder, if you see a red tag, please don't pull it. If you've got questions of why it's tagged off, feel free to call me or talk to maintenance, but there's a reason that they're tagged, so please don't pull those tags off.
Any more questions? Any more questions? Come on.
I have a statement that I'd like to make. On the February 21st, 26th board meeting, Richard Pomeroy asked a question and stated that he had spoken to me per the board's direction at the January board meeting regarding why Dustin Logsdon and I had resigned. Richard said that I had indicated that there was concern with the board opening specific committee positions to members. Specifically, Dusty and I were concerned that confidential information could be revealed which could potentially expose board members, including Dusty and I, to personal liability as well as the park, and noted the park had been sued in the past. Richard asked the board for reassurance that this would not happen. Don replied to Richard saying, everything we do, if it's a legal action or whatever, we ask counsel for advice, and everything we have done thus far since I've been president has been off the advice of legal counsel. So in my humble opinion, we are not under any liability of any decision we've made. After that board meeting, I contacted Don and asked him to clarify his statement, noting that Dustin and I's concerns regarding liability were not discussed with an attorney, and shared my concern that his statement indicated or implied that we had had the advice of counsel prior to our resignation. For further historical clarification, I had prior correspondence with the board that included, number one, our concern that opening the lease and finance committee to members could result in members having access to 2 prior legal settlement agreements, both of which contain non-disclosure agreements, also known as confidentiality agreements. Number 2, current circumstances had the potential to repeat past mistakes, and it was a bad time to add members to either of those lease or finance committees, especially in consideration of current circumstances. And number 3, recent discussions with the council regarding other lease and finance matters led the TL attorney to suggest that TL and the board move very cautiously and carefully to ensure the past mistakes were not repeated. My concern continued to grow, and I requested a delay in the decision until an in-person meeting could be held. My hope was to discuss potential problems and, if necessary, seek legal advice regarding a member having access to those settlement agreements, as well as confidential information regarding current TL issues TL faced with leases and finances. My hope was to have a formal vote on the matter before a decision was made. However, despite my concerns and requests, a Facebook post was made inviting members to apply for committees to include the lease and finance committees. Regarding my request that Don clarify his statement, he responded via text to me that indicated after review of the transcript he did not find anything derogatory against Dusty or myself. He did not offer to clarify his statement to ensure the membership knew that Dustin and I did not have the benefit of legal counsel regarding our concern, which ultimately resulted in our decision to resign. I'm making this statement today not to cause conflict, but rather to ensure that the members understand that Dustin and I resigned without having the benefit of any attorney input. Furthermore, to clarify, my requests for a face-to-face discussion and formal vote were denied. Thus, without having the benefit of council's input, we believed the decision to open the lease and finance committees to members had the potential for us to face personal liability, a risk we were not willing to take. In retrospect, it appears that a decision to open the committees was rushed, not discussed in person, did not undergo a formal vote, and seemed to have an element of emergency. So my question today would be, has anyone applied for the lease or finance committee, and if so, has the board taken action?
Okay, let me clarify something real quick, Gary. That, all the information that you just shared, some of that has been brought in front of the board. What I responded to you was in regard to Treasure Lake's liability. As of the time that I've been on the board as president, all the things that we discussed, we have went to our attorney for advice on every item.
Not on the
items
committees.
that you're discussing, okay, I understand your personal concern and your personal liability and all that, but we felt as a board, from the information that we've received, we have done everything in regards to Treasure Lake, being transparent to the owners, inviting the owners to help us. And I don't, in my opinion, I don't think we've opened up anything that we should not open up, and we are taking the utmost importance of confidentiality, and that's the way we look at it. But we're going to be as transparent as we can to all the owners, and I apologize to you if you feel like I did not answer your question right. I am not going to sit here and get in a detailed conversation of items. I'm just trying to be straightforward and do what we can do, and I appreciate everything that you and Dusty have done for this organization. You all have done an excellent job. Nothing broke my heart more than you and Dusty calling me when I was totally unexpected and resigned, and you said on the phone, really by, I said, is there anything I can do to change you or Dusty's mind? And you all said no. So
That's correct.
I had no choice but to accept your resignation.
That's true.
And it broke my heart because of that, because we really relied on you. And I'm not here sitting here to throw darts at you or anything else. I appreciate you. I love you personally as a brother, but I'm not going to argue with you one way or the other. And I promise you that I or the board all feel the same. We're not going to jeopardize Treasure Lake.
The discussion that we had and your response to Richard Pomeroy indicated that the opening of the committees was upon attorney's advice, and that was not true.
The answer to your question had nothing to do with anything other than relating to Treasure Lake is not involved in any illegal operations or whatever I said. I'm not prepared to repeat exactly what I said, but I have the transcript.
I just quoted it.
What you quoted me may have some valid to it. I can't answer that because I'm not here prepared for it. But all I'm telling you is, and I'll tell this to the whole Treasure Lake community, we are doing everything in our power to maintain the most transparent and the most secured way of doing business.
But what this was about was the fact that your response to Richard Pomeroy indicated that legal counsel had been consulted about opening committees, and that was not true.
Well, I didn't, if it went that direction, I apologize. That's not what I was referring to. I was referring to the last question Richard had. Are we under any questions of liability, is what I understand. And again, I don't have that in front of me, but I'll be more than happy to get it if anybody has any questions. Thank you for your question. Does anybody have anything to offer? Any other questions? Come on, brother.
A lot of excitement last night outside my campsite. Did that get resolved in a positive manner?
Yeah, I'd be happy to address that.
Okay.
So yesterday evening, somebody that was not a Treasure Lake owner had pulled up to the guard shack and told security that their 19-year-old autistic son was missing, that their phone had last pinged on what looked like our property. Security escorted them to the last known location of the phone ping. We did a quick cursory search when he wasn't located, and the family had said they had not called 911 yet. We initiated that call to 911. Rescue teams came out. They started searching the Henning Trail. Great response from our officers. Did a wonderful job, and thanks to Branson PD and their first responders that came out as well. The problem self-resolved itself. He found his vehicle and was able to charge his phone and make contact with his parents. So it all ended well, and it was a great drill for us to run for a missing person. So we did learn a couple lessons through doing that. We found out that we don't have enough flashlights, so we're going to be ordering some more flashlights, and just learning from that experience and moving forward. But thanks to everybody that responded and helped. Thanks to all the owners that monitored Facebook and went out and walked trails as well. I makes me feel really good to know that if something like that happened, we've got a response from our owners as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to that. That was amazing for Treasure Lake to have the app or the Facebook page that they have. It immediately went to my phone, and we were just like on alert. So if you don't have the Facebook page, you really need it, because that really helped all of us owners that were here to look out.
Absolutely.
Have any more questions? Any more questions? Well, I want to thank everybody for coming today. And again, enjoy Treasure Lake. We've got a fantastic year started so far, and we want to continue on. So we appreciate everybody and everybody that's been involved to get us here. Thank you very much for all the work campers and Treasure Lake team. Thank you.